I'm Lunaria.
You're listening to Rise Awakenings, part of the Rise Radio Network where advice meets action.
We're here to spark your growth, lift your spirit, and help you crush your potential.
Rise Awakening, hear the call. Through the static, we break the wall. Your station, your voice where dreams awaken in time. Rise Awakening, now is the time.
Rise Awakenings, let's rise together.
Feel the hum beneath your skin, a pulse of light, let it begin. The night dissolves, the day will spin. Rise awakenings, hear the call. Through the static, we break the wall. Your station, your voice where dreams awaken and climb. Rise awakenings, now is the time. Echoes bloom, they bend and glide. A signal surging deep inside. From shadows' grip, we rise and rise. Tune the whispers, find your way. Tomorrow starts with sound today. Rise awakenings, hear the call. Through the static, we break the wall. Your station, your voice where dreams awaken and climb. Rise awakenings, now is the It's Brindlewolf and Diane, so listen up if you can. Yeah, journey with them today as they help you find your way. Oh, mental wellness is the topic of the hour. Mental health and the power to tap into our alignments will lead to our refinements. Phoenix Talk, a show like you've never seen. Phoenix Talks, awareness that has never been. Phoenix Talks with Brindlewolf and Diane. Phoenix Talks, so tune in if you can.
ad. So I did,
Yeah.
and she's so excited that she's like, hey, what would you think about having a podcast? I was like, okay. So that's basically, and then after a 3-hour conversation, we had never really had the opportunity to sit down and talk. We met in acquaintance level several weeks prior to, but we had never really had a chance to just sit and chat and get to know each other. And we are so on the same page in so many different ways that we decided to bring Phoenix Talks to you and do it as often as we can and just have these conversations with you. So with that, today we are going to be talking about different levels of how valid
Morning bell rings, coffee is poured. The pains fell yesterday, must be ignored. Set to the side, a list to be done. Bury the truth, not yet overcome. Gotta act, gotta be, gotta mask, gotta hope they can't see. Doesn't match, do they see you, or are you hiding reality from view? The sadness and hurt replaced by a smile, disappearing quickly without a reconcile. Who do you become when you're out of their view? Do you see who they see when you look at you? When you look at you, do you see who they see when you look at you? Returning home, free from the day, set it aside and out of the way. But it doesn't feel free, still under control, splintered in pieces, not feeling whole. Wanna fly, wanna play, wanna dance, God, I want that today. Doesn't match, do they see you, or are you hiding reality from view? The sadness and hurt replaced by a smile, disappearing quickly without a reconcile. Who do you become when you're out of their view? Do you see who they see when you look at you? Do you even know who you are when no one's around? Someone who's lost, or a happiness found. Is the mirror looking back at you, the person that they see, or the real you, longing to be free? Doesn't match, do they see you, or are you hiding reality from view? The sadness and hurt replaced by a smile, disappearing quickly without a reconcile. Who do you become when you're out of their view? Do you see who they see when you look at you? Who are you? The real you, when no one's looking.
to Phoenix Talks.
Welcome, welcome. Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary. Oh, man. And I kind of messed up the surprise because I forgot to switch scenes, and Restream has updated so that when you're not in the screen sharing scene, you don't hear a freaking thing.
Okay, but I have to note that he was just actually doing this before the show, spontaneously. So that's still pretty impressive that you put together whatever you put together in like 3 seconds of time. That was fabulous. I'm like, oh my goodness, look at us.
I know. It's amazing.
I like my background better.
Oh, yeah. Me too. Cash just said she doesn't hear anything.
Uh-oh.
If everyone else can just pop in and let me know if we can be heard
Yes, let us know, please.
before we start getting into the meat and potatoes of what we just heard.
Yeah. Yes. That was a beautiful song. You did really okay. Lunaria can hear. Okay, Cash solved
Okay,
it.
good.
We're good.
Okay. All
Awesome.
right.
Thank
Awesome.
you guys. That was a beautiful song. You did a great job with that one. We
Thank
do a
you.
great job with all of them. But that was really beautiful.
Yeah. Sorry. No, that wasn't Chad Kroger. it was not Nickelback. But yes, it did create a song very similar to what Nickelback would sound. Because I told it I wanted a mid 2010s with a slight 90s grunge.
It's perfect. It was perfect. So I am glad to be here 2 years later with you, and we're both growing and evolving so nicely, and we've have this beautiful, beautiful little community here that is
Yes.
growing with us, and we're all growing up together. I love it.
Yes, yes. We both have more confidence. I have more weight. I no longer look like a cancer patient.
I definitely have more weight. You have like this man behind the curtains knowledge that you didn't have 2 years ago.
God, that was disgusting. That StreamYard was just, oh my God, so much no to that. Oh, not to put that platform down. I'm sure that in the past couple of years they've gotten better, but that was horrific. But anyway,
I feel like my camera looks grainy.
Nope, looks fine on Twitch.
Okay,
I got
good.
Twitch. I
That's
got
all that
Twitch up in
matters.
the background. Yep. So you asked me a question the other day. Who are you when no one's looking?
Mm-hmm.
Where do you want to go with that?
Okay, so where I guess my mind was at with the who are you with when no one is looking is I've been talking about authenticity a lot, and authenticity happens around individuals you feel safe with. And so I wanted to kind of go down this rabbit hole of who are we when no one is looking, why we're like that when no one is looking, and how do we get ourselves comfortable with being that regardless of what happens or who's around us. That sounds like a rabbit hole.
It's a deep one for many people. Because, on the first layer is chameleon. Do you adjust to who you're around? Do you adjust your behavior, your attitude, your mannerisms? Oh, I bet you do. I know I have. And then it'll be one of those things. And let me tell a quick story where about 26 years ago, I created some heavy damage between two people that at the time, one I cared about and one that I still care about, where I was going to one and I was complaining to one about the other. And then I was going to the other and complaining to that one. Meanwhile, appeasing both of their own behaviors because I was comfortable expressing those things, not realizing Now, this is a whole different conversation or topic, but not realizing the damage that I was creating by doing that. But
Yeah, we've all done that. So then let's piggyback onto that and say, in that specific circumstance with those two individuals, you didn't feel comfortable or safe speaking directly to whomever it is that needed to hear what you were saying to their friend. So you were not comfortable, which means to me that you weren't safe.
nope.
So that's what I really want to hone in on today is safety. We can't really truly be the fullest expression of ourselves when we don't feel safe, right? How many times do we
Exactly.
come home and all of a sudden, like we're like free, no more masking, for the day.
Yes.
And then what is it about who we are at home when no one's looking that we've received criticism and mocking and shaming and whatever the else has turned us off from being that person outside? What is it that we're hanging on to and fearing is going to happen?
God. Shit, God. Excuse me.
So I've been
I had to clear that one out. That one kind of got stuck in my throat chakra there for a second.
I've been practicing lately unmasking in different circles to see how I'm received, because that'll tell me where I want them in my life. I've been It's not easy. It's not easy to unmask and to just be your fullest expression. And I'm a weirdo. I'm a really big weirdo. So as if you can't notice that already in 2 years. But I need people around me who understand my experience. I
Yes.
can't be the fullest expression of myself if I know you're going to react to it in a way that's unkind or ignorant. It doesn't make me feel safe, and then I don't want to be my fullest expression around you. So how do we figure out how to maneuver life and still be the fullest expression of ourselves without the fears? And I think for me, it's just I'm stepping into like vulnerability, but I'm being very selective with whom I am vulnerable, because to me, being my fullest expression is being vulnerable because of trauma and it never being accepted and being ill received. Not because there's anything wrong with me, but I'm neurodivergent. So if you don't understand anything about autism and ADHD and how that brain and nervous system works, you're going to project ideas onto me that aren't compassionate of who and what I am and how I need to meet my needs. So I've been practicing being vulnerable in front of certain people in order to help myself, like, see, are they safe? Do they have the capacity for the depths of me?
Right.
That's been a big question for me lately. And there's only one way to find out, and that's to actually allow yourself to be vulnerable. So I definitely think this is a topic that we all struggle with.
And I've experienced different varieties of this topic, where there are times where I will have an absolute shit day when no one's looking. I will think so low of myself. And then, oh, wait, I have a podcast. And I turn it off. And I'm fine. And I present to everyone exactly who I am. But then when no one's looking, it's like, well, where did he go? Hey, yo, come back.
Yeah. You know
And
what?
then there are times where I'm afraid to express who I am because it's in a different circumstance, in a different situation where I'm dealing with whatever neurospicy I have going on in my brain that causes me to get overstimulated and explode. So that's another thing. It's like, oh God, I got to put the mask on and I got to make sure that I don't explode and that everybody knows and they know the warning signs so that they can back up and I don't affect them. Oh,
unless they're autistic friends who miss social cues.
Oh, well, see, I definitively try to be as direct when it comes to that, especially if I'm in a leadership situation.
Yeah.
Okay, you're a new hire. Here's what to look for in case I have one of my moments. It-
Yes.
if you see the hat backwards, ask me if I'm
Right.
warm.
Right. And I try to do this. I'm glad you said that because I feel like I've been coming to people with disclaimers. By the way, I'm not like this all the time. I have my bad days and and this is what happens. And here's some stupid shit I did the other day. Not that but I have the utmost compassion for myself. So I come with that disclaimer with the understanding that I love myself and I have compassion for myself, but you need to understand that that's what you might see. And
Yep.
just preliminarily trying to see what their response is to even that.
Right. And Cash wants to know how I feel after such a podcast where I was having a crap day and then had a great podcast. How do I feel
That's a great
afterwards? It really depends, because sometimes I will be able to carry that in and into the rest of the day and I'm feeling great. And then there are other times of, well, now what? See, I'm a human just like you guys, and I have my varying degrees of things that I deal with. Do I have more tools in my toolkit now so that it's not as bad? Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would hope so. Otherwise, we should stop the show now and just go about our Wednesday night.
Yeah. And you know what I feel with us and masking and chameleon and shape shifting into whatever we need to shape shift into for whatever hat we got to put on in that task. I feel like that's all the sides of who we are. It's all who we are. But what we're doing is we're only focusing on one aspect of ourselves that's relatable to that specific circumstance and situation. Now, I understand how that is necessary at like a professional office. Like I can't go in and just start singing and saying random stuff out loud because I'm stimming vocally at the office. You know what I'm saying? So like there's places and spaces that require the part of you that relates to that specific arena.
Right.
But outside of those spaces that require only those specific parts of you, we can still like get ourselves to open up a little bit more, but in safer environments. So we're not going to do this in the lion's den. Let's practice like we're just out at the grocery store, strangers. Nobody cares about you. Be your fullest expression. And, hold the line, if you will, for yourself. And also practicing like when somebody doesn't receive you well, practicing saying, okay, I'm not everyone's cup of tea, but I'm mine.
And I don't know why, but there's a reference from Miss Congeniality that comes to mind. Sandra Bullock walking off the stage, and she's got the big old smile on her face. She's like, "Excuse me, I have to go and screw my smile now." It was like, you got to say this. I'm like, okay, I'll put that out there, because that's a mask that a lot of people wear. It's like, okay, I have to be happy, I have to be pleasant, and everybody has to like me, and they have to feel welcomed. And when I get home, I don't care.
Yeah. So I think that's part of it too, is maybe the challenge is, and the homework is, to be as truthful about who you are as possible and as authentic as possible. So that means that you're going to not give a crap about the opinions of others and how you're received. You're just going to give a crap about being authentic and standing firm in your truth and showing up for yourself as yourself. I do things gently in a way that is playful and helps me feel safer. so that I can dip my toes in the water without diving head first. So like, for example, I think life is better with sound effects. So one of my vocal stems is like, I always make sound effects for shit. So like if I'm driving and I'm going around a curve, wee, like stupid shit. Okay.
Yeah.
But that could be annoying to some people. Those are not my people. I need fellow weirdos around me. So I can have to be my fullest expression and have my nervous system relaxed. And I think that's what, like, who are you when no one is looking? Your nervous system is relaxed when no one's looking. You're safe with yourself for the most part, unless you're judging yourself. Stop judging. But it's a matter of nervous system regulation and safety. So we got to be brave. We got to be brave.
So when you are by yourself, when no one's looking, and there are times when this requires you leaving the room because something was said that almost ripped the mask off the face that you wore in the situation that you were in, and you didn't want them to see it. That's where I'm led when I think about who are you when no one's looking. You're a human being with feelings. And sometimes those feelings come out when no one's looking. And that's when you feel the safest for them to come out, is when no one's looking.
Mm-hmm.
So you excuse yourself to another room, especially if it's in a situation where you can't get away. And you just walk out, go to the restroom, have a very silent, quick cry, adjust the makeup or wipe the eyes. And then, okay, and you check yourself in the mirror and you smile again. All right, do I look, and you're looking, do I look puffy? Okay, okay, all right, okay. And then you go back. That was literally the first inclination or first idea that I had when the topic was brought up. Because once you've left the outside world and you are in your safe space, who are you?
Yeah. Yes. So let's talk about that for a second, because when you are alone, sometimes isolating to process is necessary because you need to figure it out in your own head first before you can share it. But how many of us don't reach out to anyone and we do everything alone because we're ashamed of it, or we feel embarrassed, or we don't want to be a burden on anybody, or all these lies that we tell ourselves, all the stories that we tell ourselves of why we can't share our fullest expression of ourselves with others. So I understand if it's a dynamic where that's not safe, but there is somebody in your world that you trust and that you feel safe with. So it's important to have a witness to your processes. And I know that that will determine whether or not that person is continuously a safe person, because how they respond to you when you're at your rawest is an indicator of whether or not they belong in your life and how close they are to you. Okay. So I guess in that sense, we need to be brave to give ourselves permission to share those depths with others so we can understand what their capacity is to hold that depth. But then we also have to acknowledge that it's not going to be for everybody, that we have to use our discernment and decide who we're going to be vulnerable with and share with. Yes, it's important to allow yourself to be seen in all of your forms, in all of your expressions, in every part of who you are. Because how do you know? Like, otherwise it's just, okay, not everyone's just a good time person. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're a human being. You have to be allowed to be a human being. And if they only see one version of you, they're not going to know the full breadth of you.
Right. And a lot of times, I've heard people say, well, if you're not wanting feedback or you're not wanting really a response, just let me know that you're venting. Who thinks about that? When they're in an unsafe mindset and they don't feel safe, are you going to start with, okay, everything I'm about to say is venting. I don't want you to take any of it personally because it's just venting. Well, it's something that I practice, but I'm not everybody. And I know that there's people out there that do have that practice of, okay. And the reason that I'm saying all of that is because when you don't have a safe person who can see you for you in all ways, whether you're having a good day, a bad day, angry, sad, mangry, whatever the case is, they understand. They don't take it personally. I mean, unless you're just being a bitch to them. But they get it. And you feel safe doing that. You might apologize afterwards. And don't call yourself weird if what we're talking about is not your experience, because you're going to have a different experience. That's the beauty of being a human being. Mm-hmm. Is that there are so many different experiences that people can have. And you're like, oh, wait, well, that doesn't really apply to me. I don't get that. Well, that's okay. Because you've had a different experience. And there's no shame in that. And there should be no shaming others because they have a different experience than you do. Because this is one thing that leads to them feeling unsafe and opening up.
Yeah. So we can proactively, if we're a listener, we can proactively ask, would you like me to just hold space for you and listen, or did you need some feedback? Right. This way, it's not, I'm going to tell you what to do. It's their choice, and they can understand that you're going to be the container to hold whatever it is they're going to dish out. As long as they're not attacking you personally, that's different. But
different
the
story.
Point is,
different story, different situation.
Right. But I think that now especially is a time for us to show up as authentic as possible so that we can really start weeding out who belongs in our circles and who doesn't. And there's only one way to find out. We have to show up as us, where we can feel like we can test the waters. And I say it that way because there's obvious ones that are a hard no.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
is the you when no one's looking the same you as when everyone's looking? Yeah.
Right. Do your actions match your words in public, in private? You know, if you say you do X, Y, and Z, do you? And it's just a reevaluation thing, because sometimes we get swept up into other areas and then we say things, but that was 10 years ago, not now. What are we doing now? Who are we today? Where are we at now? We're not hanging on to who we used to be at the past. We're not trying to tell everybody who we're becoming in another 10 years. Who are you right now? And let that come out. Let yourself be vulnerable. Is it, Michael, do you? Yes.
Do you?
Do you though?
Really? Do you really?
On the night of the did you? Oh, I love that we can make fun of ourselves.
So where were you that night?
Oh gosh. So for me, being vulnerable around others is a challenge, because obviously as a survivor of whatever I've endured in my own experience, as an autistic ADHDer, the reception of me it's not for everybody. So that's why I come with disclaimers. That's why I say I'm not everyone's cup of tea. Okay, whatever. That's good. Go enjoy your life.
Yeah. And I know who my friends are when they say, no, you're not too much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's a lot of times and a lot of people I'm too much for.
Right. And that's got to be okay. We're not supposed to resonate with everyone. There's a lot of people I know I'm too much for. Okay. You're not in my inner circle. You don't have the capacity to handle the depths of me. You can't come in deep. You know what I mean? Cash Angels, could we share this one? I think we can share this one.
I feel I have.
Yes.
Oh, wrong one. Here we go.
I
I have a hard time, for example, crying when alone, harder than with someone. Laughing even out loud is not a problem, nor is dancing. Those are vulnerable with others. Yeah, I can agree with that one as well, because when I'm alone, and I'll tell my friends after I've had a really big cry, I make it sound like it was hours long. It was 4 minutes.
How long is it? 4 minutes?
Maybe 4 minutes. I mean, that's a big cry for me when I'm alone. But if I have somebody there who is helping to absorb that emotion and honor that emotion without shame, without any other thoughts, and I can literally, and how many can relate to this though, where you have that safety of being embraced by somebody else and it just flows because you feel safe in that moment.
Yeah.
But a big cry for me, there have been times where it's lasted a couple hours. A year ago comes to mind.
Yeah.
Where I was alone and found out that one of my besties had passed away. So yeah, that was a lengthy cry. But normally, a big, huge cry, I'm done before I'm out of the shower.
Yeah.
So yeah, and there's no shame in that either.
Right. I actually cry alone most of the times. I don't cry in front of people. And if I do, it's very contained. There's no crying. There are very few people in my life that I have really cried. And I'm not talking when you go to a funeral, that don't count. I'm talking everyday stuff and processing stuff. So there's only a handful of people that I could actually allow myself to be witnessed by. And you don't have to have a lot of people to witness you like that. You just have to be open to at least one to be that kind of a person for you.
Yeah. Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you, Ashley.
I've been watching you over on YouTube. Quick shout out while we have this interruption to everybody who is watching live, whether you're in YouTube or Twitch. Thank you so much for being here and enjoying the show.
Thank you.
You guys really helped the conversation to continue going and helps to guide us in the direction that the topic needs to be talked about, because this is for you. Yes.
And I actually want to hit the topic that Michael just brought up. Humor is also a mask. He says, I subvert all the bad and off feelings with humor, and it's hard for me to cry in front of people. I don't ugly crying in front of people. Even when at my grandmother's funeral, it just put my head in my hands and pushed my tongue to the back of my throat to hold it in. Yeah. So let's talk about, I get that, because that's where I've been. It's taken me for a long time to get to a place where I'm forcing myself to reach out to that loved one that is desperate to hold space for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But I want to cling on to real quick, humor as a mask. That is so important to note because so many people use comedy as a trauma response to pacify and de-escalate situations around them. You become a freaking comedian to survive. But then that comedian facade becomes your mask, and then you don't show emotions and nobody can really know what's going on. You just look like the fun guy. Robin Williams. That can eat you alive at some point. So we especially want to be mindful and ask ourselves, am I practicing avoidance in comedy? Am I practicing avoidance from facing whatever is making me uncomfortable in this moment? So for those of us who have used comedy as a survival tool, it's time to start deprogramming that and de-gaslighting ourselves. And that's an opportunity for us to actually speak what's on our mind and practice that vulnerability and the truth with whomever we're with, unless you feel unsafe. Why is that comedy coming up? That's a survival tool. Why is it being brought to the surface with that person? Are they unsafe? So all of these questions are to be analyzed.
Right. And I kind of want to address this one real quick. I've always had to be the strong one for everyone around, so I have to express it alone. This falls into the topic of who are you when no one's around. You are the wounded one when no one's around.
Right.
In this instance, you are the wounded one. You are the one that is not held. You are the one that is not taken care of. And that is when you...
Yeah. Right.
But then you have this one. I have a hard time showing emotion, want to cry, but can't feel that suffocation, if you understand. Yes, I understand that because sometimes you just... And this goes... I have a memory from my sophomore year of high school with this one because there was one of my classmates who I didn't even know, but I had been through so much at that point that this really hit me and hit me hard. She unalived herself and I cried for 3 hours.
Yeah.
I didn't know her, but it hit me so hard with everything because divorce, moving from one town to the next, it all just built up.
Yeah.
But that feeling of not being able to breathe, because you get into that, your body just starts to get into that reaction. So that's one reason why myself included, is like, I don't want to really, I kicked her out somehow. I didn't touch nothing.
Peekaboo.
Bubble kittens will get a kick of that out of that one.
That's so funny. I'm back.
But it does. It creates that difficulty in breathing. So it's like you want to hold back and you don't want to engage in that release for fear that it's going to create problems that you didn't need.
So can I just say, if you're by yourself and you're struggling to cry, understand that your body needs that release. So help yourself cry. That doesn't mean hurt yourself in any way. That's not what I'm saying. Not physically anyway. You might hurt your own feelings, but when your crying is stuck, that's when I want you to reflect and focus on what it is that you need to focus on so that you can feel what you need to feel. That's where you need to sit with it. Sit with it without judgment, without shame, without expectations, and just let it surface for you in stillness. And don't worry about it if your brain doesn't turn off. That's not an issue. Allow yourself to become aware of your breath and just sit in the stillness, even if you have thoughts come in, and recognize them, and then reshift your focus back onto whatever it is that you need to sit with in the stillness. Mm-hmm. Stillness will bring the clarity that you need. You have to give yourself permission to be still. So tell yourself that you are safe in this moment to be still and to be heard by you. Let yourself be heard by yourself. Be the champion for yourself that you didn't have in those circumstances that made you silent and made you never cry because it was not safe to.
Right.
Okay, so there's your 3 therapy.
Emotional constipation is a thing.
It is. It really is.
And we suffer it most when we're alone.
Yes. Yes. And I go
And I
through
actually,
periods.
all right, audience participation time. Everybody
Okay.
that's in the audience. If you understand that emotional constipation when you are alone is most present and it is hardest to release those emotions, put a yes in the chat.
Yeah.
I want to see this.
This should be good.
Once it catches up, because there's almost a 30-second delay.
Okay.
And I'm actually going to bring it up here.
Yes. 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 Look at that. Of course. Of
Yeah.
course. So, the emotional constipation is a blockage because we didn't feel safe. And I go through like if someone disrupts my nervous system, I will get stuck in that, freeze mode, that survival stuck mode that stops me from expressing anything because it was not safe to. So it's almost like that's a protective thing for you. So the key is to really make yourself feel safe with you so that you can give yourself permission to allow what needs to get out of you happen. It's not suffocating, it's cathartic. It's only suffocating when your focus is on the pain and not on the healing,
Right.
not on loving what it is that you're witnessing. And when I say loving, I don't mean like, oh, this is great. No, I mean, I got your back. I love you. You didn't deserve that. You shouldn't have experienced that. Whatever kind of validation and de-gaslighting you have to do for yourself, that's what I mean by loving. The processing part. And that's
Something
tough.
like that, Michael. Yes, like getting stuck in the being strong setting and not being able to snap out of it to go through the pain. That's one level of emotional constipation. I'm talking about when you are feeling sad, when you are feeling that need to cry. I watched something on YouTube or Instagram or on TV episode and something moves me either because it's sad, because it's happy, because somebody just had a puppy, whatever. And I get leakage. My eyes sweat, like you would say. And I need an deodorant, like you would say. Well, that's a buildup many times for me. I'm not speaking for everybody, but for me, and this was oh, shit, that's what that is. It's a mini release of things that I've been carrying, and it hit home.
Yeah. Yes.
So it's kind of like a mini, oh, God. Okay.
Yeah.
One of those moments.
I want to jump back to the being strong part. So that means no emotions. That's actually not being strong. That's dissociating so that you could survive. That performance, that's performance strength so that you can navigate through what you're navigating through and survive. The strength is in allowing yourself permission to experience the emotion so that you could feed it love, and shifting your perspective on it so that you can feed it love and give yourself compassion, and being comfortable and at ease with the love that you gave yourself to the point where it's no longer a trigger and you're no longer offended by it if it comes up from somewhere else. Okay, that's the strength. The strength is in the healing work. That's the power that makes you a lot more valid and valued. So like people have more respect for you if you are solid with yourself and own your shit, whatever that shit is. if you own it and it's not a big deal, no one can ever control you or make you feel bad about yourself.
No.
Okay. Let's see what else we got here. Yes. I think the floodgates need to open from time to time, especially if you're neurodivergent, because we get overstimulated and we take on a lot. I personally need to cry at least once a week, at minimum once
And
a
there's
week.
nothing wrong with that.
No, it's a necessity. My nervous system needs to release that energy. It
Yeah.
needs to be removed from my body. I call that water retention, but not the other kind of water retention. This is like emotional water retention. Not good.
So do you need a water pill or kaopectin? One of the other, so that you're not dealing with emotional constipation.
I need a sappy, wholesome thing to get the tears out. So, I'll scroll on social media and find something that hits me at home in the heart, so that it's a catalyst to get it out. You know what I mean?
Right,
So I'll use
right.
it as a tool in that way to help myself cry.
Michael's got the sweaty eyes disease.
How about
Interesting.
angriness? So the anger depends on the kind of anger we have, because is the anger resentment towards someone for something that we can shift our perspective on, or is the anger for the injustices that we've endured in our experiences? And this is about who are you when no one is looking. So the important thing is, when you're being vulnerable with others and you're feeling angry, it's important to maintain steadiness and speak what you're feeling without projecting it onto anyone else. And this is where the pause button comes in really, really handy in those moments that you need to get it out. You can state, I'm feeling very angry right now, and I don't know that I have the capacity to put it into words. So I may need a few moments to understand what it is that I'm feeling, and we'll come back to this. Or some variation that fits whatever the dynamic is.
Right. And the reason that I did this just a moment ago is because as she started to address the angriness, I felt a pinch on the right side of my third eye, because sometimes our perception is skewed by the perception that we were taught. And that sometimes we feel like we cannot address or accept somebody else's perception of what we're going through, of what we're experiencing. We cannot accept that. And because of that, it confuses what we see, because it's very masculinated in the energetics. Forceful, must be this way, there is no other way, I don't get it, I don't understand. And this isn't a direct at the person who said it, this isn't just in general, that this can definitely be skewed by that type of perceptive programming.
Mm-hmm.
And then trying to release that and, oh, okay, all right. So I start to see your perception. It doesn't really match with mine. And that's okay. All right, okay. I get that.
Yeah.
That type of thing.
And I want to circle back to cash angels and what about when we're alone? So expressing anger when you're alone at home. If you're struggling to express anger when you're home alone and you want to, start a grieving process. Whatever it is that you need to feel angry about but just can't get yourself there, begin the grieving process, because anger's cousin is grief.
Right.
So in that beginning the grieving process, you will get to that point where you can release that anger and release it in a healthy way. Do mirror work. If you need to tell somebody off, tell them off doing mirror work. If you need to, write stuff down, journal, whatever. Do whatever tools work for you that's necessary. Scream into a pillow, tear up some cardboard. I don't know. Whatever will work for you. allow your body to release that anger. You know,
Yeah.
even if you need to stomp your feet up the stairs, I don't care, whatever it looks like. But if you are struggling with releasing that anger, start with grief. It'll get you there.
I will. And I noticed in the chat that there was a little bit of, it's okay to be defensive about it because you might have felt called out in the moment. When I pick up stuff like that, it may or may not be from the person who said it. Because when I'm doing a podcast, and this is something that everybody can know now, when I'm doing a podcast, I am in the present moment and I'm also projecting to viewers that will see this later on. So there may be somebody present or soon that I was feeling that for. So that's something to really keep in mind, especially if you feel called out, because I may not be calling you out. But if the shoe fits, lace that bitch up.
As I say, whatever surfaces for you is to be illuminated for nurturing and love and understanding. And that's for any of us. When in any kind of dynamic or conversation, if it's surfacing for you and there's something that's off about it, the whole thing gets to be evaluated. So it's okay. It's all good.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this whole conversation is chapter 6 of my book, by the way. True story, because that was pointed out today during a session with a client. Chapter 6 of my book today. Here, just in case you
Put it up.
Oh,
Put Untriggered book up.
well, hang on just a sec. I have to reconnect to the
Okay.
to Zeno because my computer decided to glitch for a second.
Gotcha. I saw the glitch, or I heard the glitch, I should say.
Yeah, I touched something, so. But in case you are interested in what chapter 6 has to say and the work that it entails, very true.
Yes.
Because who
Yeah.
are you when no one's looking? Are you the same you when everyone's looking?
Nope.
When you're
You're
alone?
more playful at home by yourself. No one's watching you, so you get to be more you than any other time. So your homework is to try to be as much you as possible, especially where you're testing waters to see if they're a safe person or not.
I mean, I know one safe person.
That's me. Find me on healingrose.org. That's my booking platform / website thingy. And on the social medias, of course, you could always reach out. And I love doing all of these. And the bloom, I think we're going to talk about more of it. We're going to carry this over. I'm going to continue this conversation on the bloom.
I'll just be in the background on the keyboard.
Yeah.
But if you were looking for
Who's
somebody
that
else,
handsome devil? Who's that?
AI is getting better because it's still AI, but it's getting better. It's more of a likeness.
Thank you, Michael.
But yes, good grief. Good thing I'm taking some time next week so that I can get the website hopefully finished for all of the updates. But that's the link to all of my socials, my website, Rise Awakenings. If you're not already a member of that group on Facebook, you can find the Zeno link on there as well. My Twitch. I think that's all. The book, it's all there.
Yeah.
and I don't deal in fluff. I saw a prominent psychic on TikTok the other day who was called out, or somebody wanted a refund because the client didn't get what they want. I'll tell you right now, you got to know what your want is to work with me. And you have to want that want, because I'm not going to create it for you. And I'm not going to fluff like a pillow. I'm compassionate, I'm kind, and I'm respectful, but I will not fluff.
No fluff.
No
frills.
fluff.
No frills, just facts.
And as Michael says, no substitutes, exchanges, or lawsuits. Exactly.
Yes. Yes.
Wow, what a great show.
This was cool.
Happy 2-year anniversary to you.
Happy 2-year anniversary. More shows to come.
Yes, yes.
Of course, if there's anything that you guys want us to talk about, please send it over to us and let us know so that we can talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll be back tomorrow morning with Lunaria joining us for another episode of the Collective Oracle Reading Evolution, also known as The Core. Or should I, I don't know if it'll actually do it. The Core. So I don't know if the gain went through on that end, but it did not as well. But anyway, you guys are amazing.
You are. Keep thriving.
We'll be back at 11 a.m. Lunaria will be back at 11 a.m. on Friday with Illuminate.
The Core. We can't make this shit up. That
Are the shirts ready? No, not yet. It really is.
Love it. We need
I'm
those
gonna
shirts.
I'm gonna have to add it to the cover photo on the group. Can't make this shit up. With the laughing emoji, right under the phoenix.
That's perfect. Love you all.
Love yourselves when
Love
no
yourself.
one's looking.
Yes.
And
Love
just in
yourself.
case you missed it, at the opening, here it is one more time.
Yes.
Have an amazing night.
Morning bell rings, coffee is poured. The pains fell yesterday, must be ignored. Set to the side, a list to be done. Bury the truth, not yet overcome. Gotta act, gotta be, gotta mask, gotta hope they can't see. Doesn't match, do they see you, or are you hiding reality from view? The sadness and hurt replaced by a smile, disappearing quickly without a reconcile. Who do you become when you're out of their view? Do you see who they see when you look at you? When you look at you, do you see who they see when you look at you? Returning home, free from the day, set it aside and out of the way. But it doesn't feel free, still under control, splintered in pieces, not feeling whole. Wanna fly, wanna play, wanna dance, God, I want that today. Doesn't match, do they see you, or are you hiding reality from view? The sadness and hurt replaced by a smile, disappearing quickly without a reconcile. Who do you become when you're out of their view? Do you see who they see when you look at you? Do you even know who you are when no one's around? Someone who's lost, or happiness found. Is the mirror looking back at you? The person sadness and hurt replaced by a smile. Disappearing quickly without a reconcile. Who do you become when you're out of their view? Do you see who they see when you look at you? Who are you? The real you when no one's looking. It's Brindlewolf and Diane, so listen up if you can. Yeah, journey with them today as they help you find your way. Oh, mental wellness is the topic of the hour. Mental health and the power to tap into our alignments will lead to our refinements. Phoenix Talk, a show like you've never seen. Phoenix Talks, awareness that has never been. Phoenix Talks with Brindlewolf and Diane.